I purposely removed myself from the meeting on Tuesday for item number 12. It was recommended by our city attorney, and I didn't have to leave the room, but we did not want any council person to feel that they were being pressured by me sitting in that seat. The reason that I asked the city attorney, and the reason that we wanted to excuse myself, is we have a buyer that is currently in the city that wanted to purchase a piece of property next door to a piece of property that I own. And they're going to purchase the property and build a business and open a business. Well, in that same process, they're going to be purchasing my property from me also. So the attorney and I felt that even though I had nothing directly to do with that particular piece of property, it is best to excuse myself. That way there's no conflict, so nobody can say, well, he pressured anybody. So that's why I chose to leave the room. The city attorney said I didn't have to, but I wanted it to be straightforward and clear to anybody that questioned it in the future why. I was as shocked as most of the other individuals were in that room that Councilwoman submitted the information. It was not shared with me prior. She never once contacted and asked me, do I own the property next door? What's the details of the transaction? It was, in my opinion, based on the viewing of that video, she made an assumption, and she did not do her proper research, as I have done on that property, to know who the owner was. She made the assumption that I own that property and that I was benefiting from the lot being sold next door. Am I benefiting from the overall sale? Yes, I am. That's the reason that I excused myself, so I could not vote on that.
Was there any reason why the council wasn't aware of who was buying the property and for what purposes?
Well, sure. When I first was approached by the potential buyer of the property, he did not want his information, displayed all over town. He didn't want anybody knowing what he was doing with that business and that opportunity at the time. As fact of the comment that Councilwoman said that the council needs to know who's buying the property and who owns the property, I feel is incorrect. We have made decisions in the past without knowing all of the facts. The facts of this particular situation is very, very simple. We had a business owner that came to me and asked me to request the council or request that a lien be forgiven. In exchange, he was going to purchase the property and pay 20 years worth of back taxes on the property and build a business that would generate revenue, potential jobs, and water sales in this city. And, as my opinion, when a potential business person comes to me and tells me, I'd really like to keep this quiet at this point, I'm not going to go tell the council. I'm not going to risk the council opening up and telling somebody what's going on to potentially lose a business. In the fact, I believe that Mayor Pro Tem made the comment that this doesn't matter. We don't need to know this information, and they really don't. All they need to know is what is the plans for this property, what are we giving up, and what are we receiving. And it is very, very simple. He was asking for us to waive $1,000 illegal filed lien, which our city attorney had made it very clear that this was a voidable lien and that the council needed to void it. That was provided in a memo that I provided to all of the council on Friday. Councilwoman had 3 or 4 days to contact me to see what was the issue, to express any concern that she may have. But the fact of it is, we talk about transparency. The part of the transparency issue is that council person. What the citizens don't know is Councilwoman Byrd and I have been fighting and battling up there for over a year. And, that's been kept very quiet because I don't feel that it's the betterment of the city to fight with a council person. That's not news that needs to be spread out there.
So what has the fight been about?
Well, it's been over many subjects. Now, there's a difference between having a disagreement, but there has been steps and things that she has done that's been out of line. There's been times that I've actually had to intervene with our city attorney to let her know what she can do and cannot do. There's a time and place for everything. And, Miss Bird has fought with me numerous times and trying to send out memos and tell me what I needed to do. And the one thing I've always said is I will not be bullied. And so I'm going to follow, and I always take advice from our city attorney when I do things. And, I follow our charter or follow our rules. And it's almost, in my opinion, she feels that she follows the rules as she understands them. And so I'm going to fight with anybody if I feel they're doing wrong to the city.
In your opinion, why do you think that, in your words, that she's going against you?
Well, she has made, it's a tricky question. It's obviously hard to know why an individual would do something. I think the timing that she's picked is probably what she thought would be perfect. It's not been a secret that Councilwoman is planning on running for my seat. That is just my opinion. I asked her at one point and informed her that I heard that she's looking at my seat, and she didn't deny it. And she rolled it off as, well, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But yet I have heard from sources that she has told directly that she is going to run against me. And I encourage anybody to run. If you feel that this is a position that you want and you want to take on the difficulties and the criticism that comes with it, so be it. But you need to be able to do it in the right way. Your first concern needs to be the citizens. And I honestly do not feel that her first concerns are the citizens. I personally believe that her first concerns are her friends. And I make a comment and I question one of her rulings or one of her votes that she did on Tuesday. We had a vote come up. I don't know the agenda item, but it was where we were supposed to co-op with the hotel here in town, which we have always done. We've always paid half of their advertising money. Well, here's the issue. It was all 6 people voted for it, and she was the only individual who didn't vote for it. And I question that, and I wonder why she didn't vote for providing advertising dollars to the business that pays all of that money to the city. Why would we ever vote against giving money for advertising when the hotels are the ones who are providing that money back to us? I feel it's almost like the old saying, you're biting the hand that feeds you. But it's not the first time she's done that. If you go back and you look at her voting when it comes to hotel motel, most of the time it's against it. But the comment was made to me, or the question was asked, is if we were prepared, if the hotels came to us, would we be prepared to supplement all of them? I said, absolutely. Why would we not want our hotels advertising? So I questioned her motives behind that. There was at one point that I disagree with some comments that she's made, and it has caused conflicts. One of the comments that she made to me, and this was a while back, she came to me and told me that a particular citizen, which I'm not going to name, particular citizens needed and wanted something. And I said, okay, I think we can possibly do that, and I questioned it. But her comment to me is what bothered me the most. Her comment was, this is not what she needs, this is not for betterment of the city. Her comment to me was, this particular person wants something, and if she wants it, we have to find a way to do it. Well, I'm sorry, I don't really, and I've said this publicly several times, I don't care who you are. If it's not the best for the city, I'm not going to do it. And, did we end up doing it? I believe we did. And because it was good for the city, it was good for that individual, but that's not the reason why I would do it. And that's a comment of an issue that I have. There are many, many other issues that I have in conflicts that we fought. I have normally, and I have promised friends that I would keep this quiet, and because I didn't feel that it was proper for the city and or from the mayor to air, as we say, our dirty laundry. And so I've continued to work quietly, having those frustrations in the background in the city hall, fighting me on things I do. It has gotten to the point that it's made it very difficult for me to do my job. And it's made it very frustrating for me to do my job. And I can see where prior mayors have had issues if they've had to work with individuals that think like this. I was very, very disappointed and bold-facedly mad at one point from another comment that she made to me during the time that we had a gentleman here that was trying to buy up all the property and for the dollar. And that whole issue we fought over. We fought pretty hard over. And she tried to override me, and there was an issue that got to the agenda that she didn't receive paperwork on. And instead of trying to go get the paperwork during the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, she threw a hissy fit towards me and told me that she didn't get the paperwork, so this better not be voted on. And I said, well, I don't know why you didn't get the paperwork, but it is on the agenda to be looked at. And she made the comment to me, well, if this makes it to the agenda, there's going to be hell to catch. She made the comment to me that if you think Miss Skaggs was bad, you ought to see what I can do. And from that point, we've never seen eye to eye. You know, there are concerns and there are issues that I will not support. And trying to be vindictive is one of them. She didn't have any evidence that supported what she was saying. She saw an opportunity knowing that I was leaving the office, knowing that I was leaving that chambers. She had, at that point, that was her time. But the problem was the facts that she laid out were all incorrect and they were all lies. The fact is I do not own that piece of property. I have never owned that piece of property. I do not have a contract to purchase that piece of property. That property is under contract from the buyer who is buying it directly and is with our current title company. And how that buyer found out about the lien was from the title search. You know, when I watched the video, it was evident that she was out to attack me because none of the facts were true. She talks about me owning it, but there was no record of me owning it. The city secretary, if you look into that video, had to actually tell her who owned the property. She didn't even do her own research, which is one of the biggest things that her and I have battled over this last year, is the information she provides is never accurate. I always have to go back and show her where it's accurate or fight her to show her where it's accurate. I'm tired of doing that. And if that's what we're going to do, then Marlin will never go forward. We're going to stay right where we've been for the last 20 years. We need individuals who are going to, one, do the research that you're going to do. If I do something wrong, if I'm inaccurate, call me out on it. You know, I have no issues with that. But the bottom line, don't come after me with false information and try to persuade and convince and do your little trickery with the citizens, because that's not fair to them. I think that she tried to make me look bad as much as she could, thinking that nobody would say anything about it because I couldn't defend myself. And one, she could have answered all those questions had she done her research and picked up the phone. As I've told her many times before when we've argued, Miss Bird, if you'll pick up the phone and call me, we can discuss it. But if you're not going to pick up the phone and discuss it, but just stand up there and accuse me of something that is straightforward lying out of your mouth, I will not tolerate that.